Interesting. All of my creatures have splash. Hold up. I got a rune that'll really help for this. Not that one. It's, I believe, there. Yeah, your creatures with splash deal 50% more damage with attacks. Dude, this realm's gonna be easy. Aw, I can't take the giant bale of straw. No, I'm not pulling your leg. There is an American faction. It's called the Guild, and it's led by F. Scott Fitzgerald. He has an ability called I read this on the wiki, so I don't really know like exactly how it works, but he's got an ability called the Great Fitzgerald that apparently has a greater effect the more money he spends, and he doesn't even have to spend the money. He can just write the check and throw it. Anyway, this is the Wind God. I believe Mark Twain's in, and he's got, I think his abilities, is it Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn? It might be both. I haven't really read the comics, so I don't know much about all that. Let's see, how may I better serve you? These feathers are very special for reasons which I cannot reveal just yet. Regardless, if you bring them to me, I will reward you. Yeah, and before you ask why his ability is called the Great Fitzgerald and not the Great Gatsby, well, obviously he's not Gatsby, right? Oh, I found another egg. Nice. I wonder what it's an egg of. Oh, it's a stronghold egg. 0 gene strength. When do these guys hatch? Oh, nether creatures and demons. Oh, like ultra rares. That's cool. You cannot breed nether creatures. Okay. I still have no idea what gene strength is about. Alright, so I'm assuming the egg just hatches whenever the fuck it feels like, right? Each creature has a trait and a set of stats that make them unique compared to all other creatures. Yeah, but Bungo Stray Dogs has been pretty good so far, right? And I'm definitely not pulling your leg about there being a character named after Dan Brown. Cause that's cool as shit. I think he's like one of 2 contemporary authors that were put into the series. I believe the other one was like a manga writer. Shit, had to mispronounce that right off the bat. Manga. Let's see, page 94. Any Apis plus Immortal King equals an Apis Majesty. That sounds like a car too. Oh, have you read No Longer Human? I have a friend that's reading that. I haven't been able to find a copy, but if it is that, you should let me know how good it is. If it's not, you should let me know which reading, what you read. Aw, but it refused. Enemy creatures will start battles. Son of a bitch. That's interesting, though. You animate an effigy and try to make it do shit for ya? Oh, and then a monster shows up, of course. That wasn't nearly as much damage as I'd hoped. You do the damage. Perfect. So I guess Splash only works on a horizontal plane then? You know, there's actually, outside of outside of No Longer Human, there's another novel out of the group of writers that they used for the characters in Bungo Stray Dogs that I want to read, and that one's Naomi by Junichiro Tanizaki. It's basically the story of a Japanese man who falls in love with a girl that seems to be able to be molded to his ideal woman, which is a Western woman. This was written in like the mid-20s or so it's when Western ideas were starting to spread a lot. And eventually, this woman, Naomi, just ends up dominating his life, and he's totally okay with it. Ah, okay. 8,000 words. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look up some more stuff. Because a lot of those authors, like them, they're really legit authors. Like Edogawa Ranpo, you know, the detective. Of course, he's a detective in the series because he was the guy who basically wrote the Japanese Sherlock Holmes stuff. He wrote like boys' detective stories. He wrote just basically like the Japanese mystery series, as it were. Do I have a core for this guy? Yep. Okay. First place. Then let's see, who else? Of course, what's his face? Doppo is well known for his poetry, which is why his ability is called Doppo Poetry. Also, his name Doppo, that could also go for what I think that also means like loner, lonely, one of those two things. So you could also read it as like loner poetry, which also fits his. I can read 8,000 words in like 20 seconds, man. I could write 8,000 words in a couple hours, I'm sure. See if I can take out the back row with my Berserker. Do it. Nope. Still, it was worth a shot. I could probably just pick it up on Amazon, but I don't quite have the funds for it. Hell, I'd probably pick it up in Japanese if I think I could stomach it. I can't read kanji that well, though. I could probably find like a middle school version, though, with furigana, and then I could just blaze through it. Ha! Blaze. Okay, so the splash damage is affected by type 2. Okay. I haven't even looked for a copy of Naomi yet, but I definitely want to read that as soon as possible, because I don't know, sounds good. And I always like things that are allegorical to cultural relations like that. Almost done. Oh, and I got a treasure chest. Alright. Any Ifrit plus any Gargantuan makes an Obsidian Ifrit, which is probably dope as hell. Yeah, I feel like if I ever bought the game, what is it, Crossblaze? The BlazBlue based visual novel that came out on Steam recently that only vaguely has anything to do with the story whatsoever. I'd probably only get it because the name's Crossblaze. And plus that'd give me an excuse to title the stream, Let's Get Crossblazed. Definitely not because I really want to know more of the story of BlazBlue. Spent way too much time reading that wiki already. Rashomon, nice. I hear the movie Rashomon only takes like the most basic cues from the story, which is interesting. Have you ever seen that movie? It's basically like the trope namer for the Rashomon story, I suppose. Which is of course a story that's told by multiple people and every person tells it slightly differently. But it's cool if it came with extra stories, right? Didn't even work. Speaking of Rashomon, the character in Stray Dogs, like, his ability is called Rashomon, but each version he uses has, like, a subtitle to it, you know, Agito and all that. I was just thinking about that, and I was wondering if those were based off of stories as well, or if that was just extra flair they tossed in to make it sound like a cooler ability. I've heard some good stuff about Leverage. Man, that's a show I've been meaning to check out at some point. Of course, I was meaning to check it out a while ago, so I'm not sure. I ended up spending way too much time watching Burn Notice instead, and I'm really bad when it comes to watching TV shows. Huh, got it. 300 favor. Dude, those things are sick. Double splash. If you're gonna watch Kurosawa's filmography, make sure to give Seven Samurai another go. Pretty good story, man. Whenever anyone brings up Kurosawa, though, I always think of the early Pure Onages, where Kyle is just constantly going off on, like, wanting to do, like, Kurosawa-style things and, like, all this different stuff. But that's because I tend to think of Pure Onage way more often than I should, I suppose. Mind Crush! That's the spell he used, right? Nice. Halien's like, man, you did way too good, man. Good job, Cat King. Any Spectre plus a Dusktail Gargoyle equals a Dread Spectre, instead of, like, a Spectre with a cool tail. Which is what I was hoping for. Any giant plus any dragon equals wall giant. Hold up. Yeah, I hear, I'm not quite sure. You're gonna have to correct me if I'm off on this, but the whole concept behind Leverage is basically just that, finding a way to gain an advantage over your opponent, as it were. A curse, that's gross. Or, you know, your adversary or whatever. In order to straight up con them, because, you know, they're fucking con artists, right? Nah, I like a lot of sort of mystery type of stuff. Like I said, I kind of lumped them in the same category because they were both on USA, correct? Like I said, I was watching Burn Notice at some point, and I like that. And that's literally just, let's show you how to not make a bomb every episode. There you are. Oh. Yeah. Speaking of Portland, so you guys had some 100-degree weather today, huh? That fucking sucks. Alright. I really need to spend those deity points I've been banking. Alright, what else are you gonna give me? A Mana Vortex. It's been like 85, 90 degrees all day today here in Denver too. And I had to run outside so I could actually check out Free Museum Day, which is sick as shit. Let's see. Stifle. After an enemy casts a spell, afflict enemies with silence for 1 turn. Then tap your creature. Oh, and not dead Bottled Fairy. That's cool. By the way, look at that zombie's eyes. That's pretty good. Ah. Okay. I kind of figured they were some sort of good guy thieves. And I always like the idea of somebody who did a not so good thing coming back to do a good thing. Or, you know, just not being the greatest of dudes. Like, what was it? That show The Mentalist? I never saw it, but I like the concept. That he used to be one of those phony psychics, and then something really bad happened, and he's like, yo, I want to be a good guy and use my powers of seeing things better than everybody else because I'm super smart as shit in a better way. Oh,